Hi everyone, it's Ricky from Bromero Cards for Honeybee Stamps today, and I am here to show you a beautiful card that I made. It's very spring-like, but it's summertime here in Chicago. It finally got to like 80 degrees one day, so I thought maybe I'll do something a little springy. I did bring back some older products because I wanted to show you guys that it's okay to go back in your vault and check out some old products that they have from Honeybee Stamps. These are all still available on the website, so don't worry. But anyway, I'm going to show you how I made these two lovely cards. Actually, I just show you one in the video, but I'm going to show you both of them. But here we go. We have these two. Very pretty. I love all the white. Very nice. The pattern paper is the star of the show in this card, and also the background too with the embossing folder. So sit back and relax, enjoy the video, and make sure that you like, subscribe, share this video, and click that bell so that you know Honeybee Stamps has a new video coming out. So let's get started. Bye! Okay, in order to make this card, we're going to be using the Spring Medley 3D embossing folder. We are going to be using the Sweet Stacks ovals, the Get Well Soon stamps and matching die sets, also the Wildflower stamp set along with the matching dies. We're going to be using paper from the Simply Spring release, and we're going to be using this floral print here. And then we're also going to be using paper from the Happy Hearts paper, which is going to be using this little squiggly line floral situation. We're also going to be using some white and black paper along with the card base. And we're going to be using the stamp wheel here. The stamp wheel is from Altenew. You guys can check it out at Honeybee Stamps website. They do have them in. They do have them in stock. A lot of places don't. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is just do our normal thing. We're going to place this piece of white paper into the embossing folder. We're going to run it through the embossing machine or the die cutting machine. And voila, there we go. We have some textured paper. Super nice. Okay, now that we have that done, we are going to do some stamping. What I'm going to do is take out several of these flowers from the Wildflower stamp set. And I decided to do like 6 or 7 of these because I might as well. I have the stamp set out. I could put them in the back of the envelope for later to use them at a different time if I decided to color them or use them the same way I do for this card. You know, whatevs. We're going to place that into the stamp wheel. The great thing is that this paper is being held by the sticky mat at the bottom, which is also a polymer stamp. And it holds the paper while we do our stamping here. All right, so I put a rub down on this because these are new stamps. I never used them, even though they're an older set. And I'm going to use the Intense Black ink from Honeybee Stamps to go ahead and get all of this stamped up with some black ink. Again, this is Copic friendly, just in case I decide to color these at a later time. I should probably put a note in the back of that envelope to remind me. We're going to place the wheel into the stamp wheel and press down, making sure we get a good impression and lift that up. I did end up, I think, stamping this 3 times. I can't remember, you guys. It was 2 or 3 times. Okay, and now that we have the flowers stamped out, now it's time to find the matching dies. And we will go ahead and get those placed onto the paper, taped down with some mint tape here so that everything stays. And then what we'll do is we will get this run through the die cutting machine as normal, because how else can this get cut other than running through a die cut machine? Like, really. All right, we have all our mint tape down. We have everything in place. We're going to run this through the die cutting machine while that plate's seen better days. And here we go. Everything's all stamped out, nice and even, perfect, ready to go for the card. Just thought I would show you a few popped out here before we move to the next step. Okay, now we're going to be using the Sweet Stack ovals here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose an oval that fits on my card base. So I chose, I think, the 3rd or 4th one from the biggest. And what we're going to do is we are going to cut this oval out twice. Once out of this orange printed floral paper, and then one out of the pink, yellow, and orange printed floral paper. We'll hold this down with some mint tape here.
And then we're going to run that through the die cutting machine just as we do everything else. And I did the same thing for the floral. Now what I want to do is cut these in half. You guys, totally not in half, or they're in half, they're just really crooked, because I have problems with ovals, you guys. I don't know why I keep playing with them, because I can never get them even on a card. And apparently I can't cut them in half either. I guess I don't know what's wrong with me. But anyway, one day I shall overcome. I'm going to take some black paper here, and we are going to cut a strip out of this, because this is what we're going to use to separate the two pattern papers so that it doesn't look too crazy. We need a little separation. And also the sentiment's going to be on black, so I thought that would be great for this. And also this black strip is going to be what's holding this oval together, at least for a little bit. So I have those laid down. I got them, you know, as even as possible. And I'm just going to lay down this black strip so that the two connect. And we're going to let that dry so that it can actually get stuck together. So now I'm going to use some foam tape, and we are going to place this foam tape on the back of these ovals. I keep wanting to call them eggs. I mean, they look like eggs. I just keep wanting to say eggs, but they're ovals. And so now we're going to take this 3D embossed background that I made. We're going to use some Honeybee Stamps glue, and get that placed down onto the white card base. You want to make sure you press this down pretty good, because there are pieces that are raised that are lower. So you want to make sure that there's glue in every area to make sure that it actually stays onto the card base. And this is kind of my idea that I'm going with. I'm going to put the oval down. I will remove the backing of the the foam tape and get that laid down. And you can see here, the oval's crooked. Like, the line is not even straight. But you know what? Life goes on. I burnt my house down because of it. It's fine. It's fine. Just kidding, you guys. Not that serious. Okay, and now it's time to do the sentiment. We're going to be using the Get Well Soon sentiment set here. And what I decide to use for one of the cards is Wish I Could Take Away Your Pain. And also the other one, for the other card that I did, it's, I actually don't remember what that is. Let's see. We're pulling it off here. One moment. Sorry, you guys. I can't tell what it is. You guys, this is horrible. I'm sorry. The other sentiment is, one moment. Ooh, I'm a loser, you guys. You're on my mind and in my heart. And the other one is, I wish I could take away your pain. Or take your pain away. We are going to do some heat embossing here. We use some embossing ink to get the powder to stay on. We use some white embossing powder, and then we'll use the heat gun to create magic on this paper. Heat embossing is always magical to me. And now that we have that done, and you can clearly read the sentiment, I could have waited instead of sounding like an idiot, but we're going to use the matching dies for these words. And unfortunately, this got cut off in the video, but you guys get the gist. We tape it down, we run it through the die cutting machine. Excuse me. So I wanted to add a little more dimension onto this card, but did not want to use the foam tape because it was too thick. So I decided to use this super thin foam tape from Honeybee Stamps, you guys. This was in my stash. I don't think I've used it in a while, but I found it and I was like, oh wow, this is great, because it's super, super thin. So it's not a lot of dimension added to it, just enough to give it a touch of fancy, because you guys know I love to add a touch of fancy. So we're going to add this foam tape on the back of the flowers. Again, just very thin layer. So thin I could barely get the backing off of the paper, or off the foam here. Because I have big man hands and I've been pretty bad at chewing my fingernails lately, you guys. It's pretty bad. I need to get them painted so I don't do that. Okay, now we have that done. We are going to place this down onto the oval. There we go. I want to make sure it's in a good spot. And then I'm going to take the sentiment and place that down onto the card as well. There we go. Pretty good. And then, I pulled out some pearls here, you guys. I wasn't even going to do this, but I saw them sitting on my desk. Like, you know what? I'm going to give a little bit of more touch of fancy to this card. We're going to add some pearls. So these pearls are ombre. They're ombre orange and pink. So I go ahead and add those to this, and that will be the ending of the card. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I truly appreciate it. And make sure you head over to Honeybee Stamps, check out all their latest products. Check them out on Instagram and Facebook and all the other places. Also, check me out over on Bromero Cards, over on Instagram and over on YouTube. You can find the links down in the description. All the products used are down below, so make sure you click those links. And I will talk with you guys later. You have a wonderful week. Goodbye.